Good morning to all and welcome to the second class. So the last class we learnt about food, we learnt about the importance and we learnt about the types of nutrients that is required for our body. I hope you all remember. And today we are moving on to a new topic and that is about digestion. So, what happens to the food that we eat? So, we all eat different types of food, right? We learned that food gives us energy. So, what happens to the food that we eat? Do we get energy directly from the food that we eat? No, we cannot get the energy directly from the food that we eat. So that the food is broken down into smaller and simpler substances. And we get energy from the digested food. So the process of breaking down food into simpler substances, we call it as digestion. So what is digestion? The process by which useful substances in the food are broken down into simpler substances is called digestion. So whatever you eat, so let it be chapati or rice or fruits or vegetables, so you cannot get energy directly from the food. So that the food gets broken down into simpler substances. And that process, what do we call? We call it as digestion. So there are different organs in our digestive system, which includes a mouth, food pipe, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, etc. So today let's discuss each part one by one. So the first is mouth. So the digestion first begins in the mouth. Okay? So when we get food, we eat the food and we chew the food with our teeth, right? As the food gets chewed, it gets into a paste. It gets into a fine paste. So the saliva, which is in our mouth, gets added into the food. You know what is the saliva? Saliva is the liquid which is present in the mouth. It is the digestive juice which begins the digestion of carbohydrates. So it breaks down carbohydrates into sugar. So the digestion first starts in the mouth. The food gets chewed in the mouth. It gets into a fine paste. Then what happens? Then the food that we chewed goes into the food pipe. Here you can see the picture. If you closely observe the picture, you can see the long narrow tube which is called as the food pipe. So the food passes through the food pipe. Then it goes into the stomach. So through the food pipe, it goes into the stomach. Food pipe opens into the stomach. And the food remains in the stomach for few hours. And it adds acid into the food. The food gets mixed with digestive juices. And our food gets processed in the stomach. And from the stomach, where does it go? It goes to our small intestine. So that is the long coiled tube like organ, that is the small intestine. So in the small intestine, the digestive juices produced by the liver and pancreas gets mixed with the food. And digestion happens. And the food gets digested properly. So our digestion is completed in the small intestine. So the digestion is completed in the small intestine. So from the digested food, what happens to the useful substances? All the useful substances from the digested food, it goes into the blood. And the blood transport it to all parts of our body. So what about the undigested food? So some parts of the food gets undigested. So that will go to our large intestine. So that is the pipe-like structure which is called as the large intestine. So all the undigested food, it goes into our large intestine. All the water which is absorbed from the undigested food is taken back to the blood. Then what remains here? What remains is the waste. So what about waste? We need to remove this waste from our body, right? It is harmful for our body. We need to remove the waste from the body. So the waste is removed from our body through an opening called the anus. So this is how our digestive system works. So here you can see the digestive system. Let me explain to you once again. The digestion first starts in our mouth. We eat the food, we chew the food, and what happens to the food? It mixes with the saliva and it gets into a fine paste, and that food goes into the food pipe, this long narrow tube. It goes into the food pipe, and the food pipe opens into the stomach. So food reaches the stomach. Stomach adds acid to the food. It gets mixed with the digestive juices and the food gets processed. Then from the stomach, where does it go? It goes to your small intestine. So the liver, it produces digestive juices. Then the pancreas, it also produces digestive juices. So from the stomach, the food passes into the small intestine. So there it mixes with the digestive juices produced by the liver and pancreas, and the digestion is completed in the small intestine. And what about the useful substances? It goes into your blood, and blood carries it to all parts of the body. Then what about the undigested food? Where does it go? It goes to your large intestine. Then what about the waste? The waste is removed through an opening called anus. So this is how our digestive system works. So the digestion begins in the mouth and it is completed in the small intestine. So I hope it was clear to you. So you can just go through the topic digestion. You can read and understand the topic digestion. So we'll meet in the next class and we'll discuss another topic. So till then, thank you.